Good morning, Miramar, and welcome to the show. I'm your host, Tamara G. Don't forget, you can check us out on all of our social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at City of Miramar. And my guest today is Darren Bennett. He is an author and a pastor, and he has a new book out called I'm My Brother's Keeper. Welcome to the show, Darren.
Well, Tamara, thank you so much. I'm elated. Like I said, I go back to the days of Tamara G and James T, and so I'm kind of starstruck right now.
Oh,
Definitely
stop it.
appreciate you taking the time and giving it to me.
Well, listen, I appreciate you listening all those long years ago to the James T. Good Morning Show. Certainly appreciate that. And we would love to talk to you about this book that you've written, I'm
They
My
were good
Brother's
years. Good
Keeper.
years.
Yes, yes. Tell us a little bit about the book.
Yes, ma'am. Well, essentially, the premise of the book is how love bridged the chasm between a conservative evangelical preacher and an openly gay police officer. My brother Shannon Santo Bennett was the first police officer, deputy sheriff for the Broward Sheriff's Office to die in the line of duty due to COVID-19. He passed away on April 3rd of this year. And this book is essentially a poetry of my pain, which has pushed me into the purpose, which is writing this book.
Wow. And so it always makes people wonder, how do kids who grew up in the same household, have the same parents, being taught the same things, how you guys are so philosophically different? Or were you? We're just assuming that because of the different lifestyles that you just talked about.
Right. Well, we were raised as twins. We were 14 months apart, but everyone that knew us would consider us twins. We actually consider ourselves twins. We did everything together. Literally into our young adult years, we were always together to the degree that I closed the chasm when I got married by getting my brother hired with BSO. Prior to me being a pastor, I was a BSO deputy sheriff from 2003 to 2013. And so, yeah, we did everything together. Though philosophically we were different, we did not allow our differences to divide us. One of the motifs that we lived by was, I can still love you and not live like you.
And if more people were like that today, Pastor Bennett, we would be a whole lot better. A whole lot better
Especially in
world.
this politically polarizing season. Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
So now tell us a little bit about Shannon and his life. And I remember when this happened, the first BSO officer to die of COVID. Obviously this disease has affected you in a ways that it probably hasn't other people because it has taken a sibling. But how did he live his life?
Shannon lived his life to the fullest. He was extremely sacrificial. He was a man of the community. He was a servant. He wasn't just your typical school resource officer. He gave his life to those kids and was willing to give his life for those kids, to the degree that his charitable work reached out to marginalized, at-risk youth, kids that were of special needs. He would give shoes out. He would have parties at his house and ask people to just bring gift cards so that he could in turn give that over to the kids at the school. And so he was a community police officer, and that's how he lived his life. And he was a family man. He loved his family. He loved his fiance, John Frey. They were engaged to be married, and would have been married this year in December, but then disaster struck, and so here we are.
And obviously, looking at you and you saying that you and your brother were 14 months apart. It's kind of like me and my brother, we're 13 months apart. Um, he was a young man in good shape, I would assume, being a BSO officer. Um, Tell people out there just how real this disease is and why do we have so many people who are poo-pooing it and thinking that it's nothing.
Yeah, Shannon was 39 years old. He was definitely in good shape. He was healthy, and so this is an invisible assailant. It does not discriminate, and so sadly, I believe my brother's death is by and large attributed to really doctors practicing medicine. The reality was when he died, there was no plasma available for him. There were no antibodies to give him. There was no therapies. The last 6 months we've seen advancements,
Right.
but for Shannon, there was none of that. It was just hopefully he makes it and let's see what happens. And now I am not inferring malpractice at all. All I'm saying is that this invisible assailant took my brother's life because simply there's no discrimination when it comes to death.
And the name
And
of the
we
book.
need to really, truly take it more serious.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to talk again. The name of the book is I'm My Brother's Keeper. Where can people get it, Darren?
Oh, thank you for asking that. Yeah, you can get it on Amazon. All you simply have to do is just log on, drop the title of the book in the search engine or my name. It's also available on any Google Books, any vendor that sells books online. It's available all over. But essentially, Amazon is the most popular, I think. That's just my opinion. But you can get it off of Amazon for sure.
Right. And don't forget those Prime days coming up too. Today and tomorrow, or actually today actually is
Yeah.
the last day. So I want to ask this question one more time, because for people who just tuned in, we're speaking with Darren Bennett. He is an author and a pastor, and wrote a book about his brother Shannon, who was the first BSO officer to die of COVID in the line of duty earlier this year. It's called I'm My Brother's Keeper. How was it for you to write this book? This had to be a very hard thing. I mean, I'm sure it's a labor of love, but how did it make you feel having to write a book about your 39-year-old brother who's no longer here?
Yeah, I think it was probably one of the most difficult things I've had to do, but yet one of the most heartfelt healing aspects of my life when it comes to the many traumas that I've been through and endured. This obviously has been the hardest. And so the book has kind of helped me heal. And I say kind of because obviously I'm not all better now. It's only been 6 to 7 months. There's a void that Shannon left in my life, in my heart, because again, we were so close, even though we were so different from one another. We made sure that, again, the love we had was that bridge. So for me to roll out 18,000 words was therapeutic. A lot of people ask me, how'd you do it so quickly? Well, number one, where were we going? We were all in shelter in place. There was nowhere to
Right.
go. And so I sat in my backyard and I just kept typing, and I just reflected on our life and our story. And I know that this story can bring about healing for many hurting hearts. And it'll definitely bring about unity, especially in a cultural time where it's such division.
Right. And I think that is probably going to be the best hallmark of the book, because, as you described yourself, you said you were a conservative evangelical, you're a pastor, and this is the story of you and the love that you have for your brother, who was gay, a police officer. I mean, police now are being assailed left and right. Not even, mentioning the gay part. You guys live different lifestyles, yet you still loved each other. And I know he knew that you loved him.
Absolutely. This book embodies everything this culture needs to hear right now. And my brother was proud of me, and he made it known everywhere he went. He was proud of his brother, the pastor. He called me his pastor. And so, yeah, there was an unconditional, this is a love story. This really is. It's truly a love story.
Awesome. Well, if people want more information on the book, they can pick it up Amazon.com or any place that sells books. It's called I'm My Brother's Keeper. And if they want more information, are you pastoring a church now?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, Calvary Chapel, North Miami, in the beautiful city of Miami Gardens.
Okay.
And so we are open for service every Sunday. We'd love you to come see us. Or you can hit me up on Facebook at Darren Bennett 82.
Perfect. Love it all. Thank you so very much, Pastor Bennett. Darren Bennett, author and pastor. The name of the book, I'm My Brother's Keeper, and we certainly appreciate you talking with us today. Welcome back to the show. Hi, it's Tamara G. Good morning, Miramar. How are you? Don't forget, you can check us out on all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at City of Miramar. And my next guest is Tiana Ward. She is a member of the Miramar AKAs, and she is the chairperson of the College Jumpstart Education with the HBCU College Jumpstart Education with a Purpose. And she's going to be talking with us today about this event that they have going on. So look at you. Beautiful, beautiful this morning. How are you, Tiana?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you, Tamara, for having us on and for letting us share some information about our upcoming event.
Well, we are so happy that you guys are doing
And
this.
so we wanted to. Okay, so exactly. So we're excited to announce that this Saturday, October 17th at 11 a.m., the Alpha Alpha Beta Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated are hosting our second annual HBCU College Jumpstart event. And this event is designed to bring together young people in high school, teachers, parents, who for prospective college students to engage with HBCU alumni, to build better networks, engage with Florida Memorial, the team from Florida Memorial University, our local HBCU, and get some essentially insights as to what the process would be like and what some of the benefits are for attending HBCUs.
Right. And for those who are just tuning in, HBCU, historically Black colleges and universities, I'm loving the idea that the AKAs came up with this because, everybody knows you guys were founded on the campus of Howard University. And education has always been very important to the Divine Nine, the colleges and sororities that are in the Divine Nine. You guys are spearheading this because even in 2020, there are some kids who don't believe that they can go to college. How is that possible when it seems like it's open for everybody, but maybe it's not? Maybe, it's not open for everybody and we just don't know that.
Yes, and I think that's why awareness, connecting our young people with mentors that look like them, that come from the same background as they came from, and to show them that they too can be whatever they aspire to be. So we have folks coming from all over the country, from various schools, including Savannah State, Morehouse, Spelman, Bethune-Cookman University, Florida A&M University. And then they can share their stories with our young people so they can see their paths, their journeys to getting to schools and what happens after school, the connections that we're able to make while attending HBCUs, what the culture is like at an HBCU. And, we fundamentally believe that HBCUs are a pillar to the success of the African American community and also the general American success. And so HBCUs have been a part of the fabric of this country for a while, and we really want to make sure that our young people are aware of the possibilities.
Awesome. So it's happening this Saturday, October 17th. What time and how can people get on? I assume this is virtually because, most folks are not doing things in person.
Yes, absolutely. We will be virtual. This will start sharply at 11 a.m. on Saturday. And you can find our information on our Facebook page. So to find us on Facebook, you would search for Alpha Beta Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, or we are also on Instagram. You can find us at AKA_AABO1908 on Instagram, or you can send me a personal email at TianaWard08@gmail.com.
Awesome. And Tiana is spelled TIANNA, Tiana Ward, and you said 08 at Gmail?
At gmail.com.
Perfect. Perfect. So for folks who would love to attend, if you have a junior or a high school senior out there who's thinking about attending college, please go to the Facebook page this coming Saturday, October 17th at 11 a.m. The Facebook page is Alpha Alpha Beta Omega chapter of AKAs. That's in Miramar. Or you can send Tiana an email at tianaward08@gmail.com if you want more information. That's TIANNA, Tiana Ward 08@gmail.com. But we encourage everyone who has someone who is even thinking about going to college to attend the HBCU College Jumpstart Education with a Purpose. And we know you guys are going to represent very well, and you're going to let these young kids know what college life is all about and how great it is.
Thank you. Yeah, we're super excited. We have some great speakers coming as well, and some giveaways for our students.
Awesome. Giveaways are great. So thank you so much, Tiana. Good morning, Miramar, and welcome back to the show. Don't forget, you can check us out on all of our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at City of Miramar. I'm your host, Tamara G. And my guest today is Joan Wright Good. She is a CEO, a publisher, and a business consultant. And today we're going to be talking with her about how she has helped small businesses and entrepreneurs make money, believe it or not, in this time of COVID and crisis, as well as some of the business teachings that she is going to impart on you if you would like to become one of her clients. So, welcome to the show, Joan. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing awesome. How are you?
You know what? I'm making it. I'm okay. And that actually is great for a lot of your clients because they have been okay during this time when other people haven't been. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, you're actually right. Thank you again. Thank you, you guys who are watching. Well, as we all know, we are in a pandemic. We are on the verge of an economic crisis, some people would say. However, I have been fortunate enough to assist several entrepreneurs, several of my clients to stay afloat, pretty much to prepare for this time. And so they have been enjoying their wins in different ways. Obviously, you don't prepare for the storm when the storm is here. You prepare for the storm ahead of time. And so a lot of these people were coaching ahead of time and putting into place pretty much, you know, how you prepare for your retirement, you know, you set aside money for your retirement fund. We like to call it legacy. You build your business legacy. As everyone know, you know, as entrepreneurs, sometimes we go into business and we're preparing a legacy, but sometimes our children doesn't necessarily want what we have going on. You know, they want their own thing. And so I teach my clients that, you know what, having multiple streams of income is always the best way to go. Now, one of the things I want to kind of pivot on is that multiple streams of income does not necessarily mean multiple businesses. You can have one business and you can leverage that business into different ways. And if you don't mind, I'll go into some examples. Okay.
Please.
So
I'm taking notes.
So
I'm taking notes.
So let's talk about the fact that almost 12 years ago, I wrote my very first book. I had gone through a very rough time in my life, went through a very public divorce, and I pretty much was just almost writing a diary. And I published that book in one weekend. And I remember after I published my book, I had several people asking me, how did you do that? Like, how did you start writing? What gave you the motivation? How did you publish? What are the steps? And after helping about 5, 6, 7 people, I was like, you know what? I have something going on here. I can help more people, and I probably should put a cost to it, because anything that costs you should cost somebody else, right? And so I started a publishing company just because people were asking questions. Now, mind you, I was a writer. I had written my first book. Now I started a publishing company. And so I was like, okay, how else can I serve others? Because anytime God blesses you with something, it's usually to bless others as well. It's not just for yourself alone. And so there it was. I started getting more questions because as people come, they'll want you to do the service, but they'll always have questions. And so I decided to do coaching. Decided to coach other people to do their own book. So here it is. We started with one book. Then we have a publishing company. I'm still an author. I'm still writing. Now I am a coach helping others to write their books. And so as I started coaching other people, I was also helping them to start their own publishing companies, right? And then I pivoted into doing magazines and doing media. Again, one business, but then you're earning in different ways. And so this was how I prepared my clients for the pandemic. Every client that I have, I show them ways of using their one gift, their one talent, and making sure that they spread it across the board. Not to start necessarily several different businesses or to drain themselves, but to use that one thing and think. You know, if you think of your regular grocery store, except for niche marketing. When you go into a grocery store, you don't go to another section of the store to get necessarily water, to get bread. Everything is there. That one store is meeting all the needs. So when you find that one problem that most people are coming to you with, you will know that you have the answer that they're looking for. You know, you don't have someone who has a toothache going to a foot doctor asking for some teeth medicine, right? So
right.
if someone is asking you over and over the same questions, more than likely 9 out of 10 times they see you as an expert in that field. And if you've been identified as an expert, then you need to work on that. You need to hone that. You probably need to educate yourself some more and present yourself as the expert so that you can answer the problems that people have.
We're speaking this morning with Joan Wright Good. She is a CEO, publisher, and business consultant. And she just told you, hey, if you think you have that gift, whatever it is, not only do you need to help other people with it, but you also need to monetize it. Because I think that also is
Yes, you
where a
do.
lot of people, you mentioned about using your gift and what talents God has given you and you want
Yes,
to give them back. A lot of people have an issue with putting a monetary price on that. How do you get them over that?
yes.
Because, everything is a business. Everything is.
Everything, everything is. Now, as you know, everything starts in the mind. How you see yourself is how you sell yourself. And so you first have to ask yourself, what is my value? You have to ask yourself that it doesn't matter what it is that you do, you are a hero to somebody else. The 5-year-old who can tie his lace correctly is a hero to that 3-year-old who's looking up to him, trying to figure out what is he doing. So there is a 3-year-old looking up to you to help them to do something. So when you understand that it doesn't matter where you start and where you are now, something that you have is valuable. When you tap into that value, you don't charge what people are looking for. You don't charge according to their budget. You charge according to your worth. Okay? You never walk into a car shop and say, hey, all I have is $100. Yes, they'll negotiate, but they're best believe they're going to stick close to the price that they're offering you. So unless you understand the value that you're offering, you don't look at what it is that you're giving. You look at your value. In other words, if they were to go, fly somewhere else, how much would they pay? You have to factor in that ticket that they would have to pay for. You have to factor in your years of education, your gas, the times you stay up at night. Charge your worth. Nobody else will be able to know what you're worth if you don't tell them what you're worth, right? And then also you have to know that you have to have corresponding actions. So it's like twofold. You have some people, they're giving you prices and then you're looking at them like, what? Like their prices just don't match the product. Let me explain what I mean. So I often tell my clients that you want to make sure that your brand is looking like your product. So if on Facebook, you're looking like someone who doesn't have themselves together, you're all over the place, you're petty, you're responding to everyone who tells you that your eye look crooked. Obviously you can't position yourself as someone who is an expert who's going to tell me how to run my life or my business, because obviously you don't have yours together. So you have to make sure that you look the part. Don't be selling me weight loss tea if you're 500 pounds. And this is not to bash anyone, because everybody have to be comfortable with themselves. All I'm saying is, charge your worth, but then you have to position yourself as what you're charging. Don't, make sure that they line up. Make sure that when somebody goes to, especially your social media profile, you look like, if you say you're a prophet, come on now, you need to look like.
I love
Don't be
everything
saying
you're
one
saying.
thing
Yeah, and not being that. I love what you're saying, Joan.
and not.
And And my issue, not an issue, but when someone gives me their price on something, and if I don't want to pay it, I
Yes.
don't argue with them. I don't try to negotiate with them,
Right.
because I believe in what you say, charge according to your worth or what you think you're worth. I don't have to pay it. That's the other part of it.
Right.
So, if you say something and I think it's too expensive and I don't want to pay that, I don't get into it with you or try to say, "Oh, well, you need to give me a discount." Okay, thank you so much for letting me know that, and I will get back to you. And that's it. And I've had that happen with me, and I'm sure Andy, who is our producer who's on here, has had that happen with him. We have a value, and I'm sure you can get into this. We don't necessarily have a product that we sell. We sell a service. We sell our voices. We sell our videography. You can get an end product from it, but people always want to negotiate with us on our prices. And I'm like, no, this is how much I charge for a 60-second voiceover, because this is how I get paid. And this is, what I use for my business. So tell us about that, when
Right.
people always want to try to negotiate with you to make you pay, or to make you do what they want at their price.
So you are the boss of your life. You are the boss of your business. You run the show. Yes, you have to be empathetic and have sympathy where that lies. But at the same time, you are the owner of your business, so you direct what happened. Again, like you mentioned, if someone cannot afford your price, well, thank you for inquiring. Actually, do you need a referral? Because sometimes I do give them a referral, and I do that because I know that at the end of the day, sometimes they're coming right back.
Right. Exactly.
But you have to stick to your price again
Right.
because you
Exactly.
know your worth. Yes, the only time I'll say to someone, okay, maybe you need to look into your prices is if everyone is going away. Is the only time I'll say that is when they're not positioned correctly. So let's say you are offering, as you mentioned, voiceovers, right? And you
Mhm.
haven't built your brand to a place where people can know, like, and trust you. You haven't prepped your audience. You haven't given them a chance to trust you. You haven't given them, because there are steps to everything. We talk about prepping your market. We talk about giving them value, so that they see that you know what they see you as an expert. They know that
Mhm.
you're worth what you're saying. But then when you make your offer to, then you always have to have a call to action. So when you follow steps and you know that you're positioned correctly in the right market, because you have some people, they're like, I can't get any clients on Instagram. What am I doing wrong? And I'll say to them, are you sure that your market is on Instagram? When you ask them about their demography or their psychography, they don't know who they serve. And so it goes back again. You can't charge a price if you don't know who you're serving. You have to know who you're serving. For example, you can't set up a hair shop in a neighborhood with all Native Americans. They don't need weaves. They don't need
Right.
wigs. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
if you don't position yourself in the right place, you might have the best product, but you can have the best product and still not sell a dime because you're not positioned properly. So you have to make sure your branding is correct. You have to make sure that you're in front of the right market. If they're not coming to you, then you need to go to them. How do you go to them? You create products, you create advertisement, you create awareness, you create campaigns, you offer free services that will not cost you anything. So you probably do like a 5 minute segment on how to get your business on TV. And
Mhm.
you have that segment running every Wednesday. Sometimes you can just do one video, you chop that up and you spread it over a 3-month period, and you put that out there. When people realize that, hey, she sounds like someone I need to connect with, then they'll get with you. Another thing that works is collaboration. I get 80% of my clientele because I collaborated with somebody else. Because when you collaborate with other people, now you're positioned in front of their target market. And again, once you're tagged in stuff, once someone mentions your name, if you're like me, the first thing I'm doing is clicking on that name to see who you are. So when I click over on your profile or anything, again, when I see that you're about the business, I'm going to come to you. But if I click over and you're not matching with all this long resume and how they say you are and the talk that you gave, then I'm clicking off. And then if someone asks me, what do you think? I'm going to tell them no, because word of mouth, it sells, it still sells today. So you have to make sure you're positioned correctly. You know your worth, you've identified your market, they can trust you, they like you, they're getting value, and then you always give them a call to action. Always give them something to do, whether it's follow you, support the business, call us, visit our website, whatever,
Call
so
to
that's
action.
how you get people
That's
to,
CTA.
yes,
That's
always have a call to
CTA.
action.
All
Yes.
right. Well, listen, our call to action today is if people want more information or if they would like business coaching from Joan Wright Good,
Yes.
CEO and publisher and business consultant, how can they get more information about you, Joan?
So they can actually go to our website, www.businessstartupacademy.live, Live, and they'll see all the wonderful services we offer and the work that we've done. They can call my office at 561-412-7772. And they can also follow me on social media at Joan Wright Good. All my social media handles are Joan Wright Good. They'll see all of my case studies, all of the results. That's another thing that we didn't get to touch on. You sell the results, not the product. You sell the benefits. You sell them the problem that they're having. So they see that you have the solutions. So they'll see all the clients that we've brought literally from zero to hero, from 500 to now making 20K per month.
Wow.
From one of my latest clients, she works at Publix. We just started her business. Now she's making thousands of dollars, not depending on her job at Publix. Another one of my clients, she just hit her 6 figures because that's my challenge to them. Every month, they have a different goal that they have to meet. So if they come to me making 500, at the end of that month, they need to be making 1,500. And then I keep increasing the goal. And I give them strategies on how to make sure that they're meeting those goals and finding clients. And not just finding. A lot of people try to find clients. Serve the clients that you currently have, because a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. If you serve that client well, they'll continue to buy from you.
All right. And you heard it there from the trainer herself. Look, she sounds like my personal trainer. I'm just going to keep pushing you. I'm going to keep pushing you. So, Joan Wright Good, thank you so much. Again, her website is businesssstartupacademy.live, or you can find her on all social media at Joan Wright Good. Wright is spelled WRIGHT and Good is GOOD. Thank you so much, Joan, for being with us today. We're going to have you back, and I'm going to have to sign up for some classes because I was taking plenty of notes. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.